Welcome to another episode of Preferred Walk On, PFF's college football show. I'm your host, Max Chadwick, and I got a very, very special guest on right now. That is Washington State quarterback Cameron Ward. Not only is he one of the best quarterbacks in the Pac-12 conference, but Cameron, dude, you are on freaking fire so far this season, man. I am so pumped to have you on. Thanks for coming on, dude.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. So we have to start, dude, with this past Saturday. What you did to Oregon State. I mean, you had a 92 passing grade, 404 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 big-time throws. Like I said, you were on fire, man. What was clicking for you in that game?
I just feel like we woke up a different team that day. It was the first game Pac-12 play. Oregon State, who has historically a great defense, great offense. What they did to us last year in Corvallis, it stung with us a little bit for the returners on the squad. We're playing at home. We have a different mindset, especially playing in front of Coug fans. My receivers, they did a lot of the work last week. You just put the ball in play. Those couple guys, they'll go make the plays for you.
Absolutely, man. Speaking of those receivers, I mean, maybe the most impressive part of your performance is that your top receiver, Lincoln Victor, went down early with an injury, and then Josh Kelly and Kyle Williams both stepped up big time in that game. What do you have to say about those two performances that they had on Saturday?
That's nothing compared to what I see in practice from those guys. I'm telling y'all, if we can record each and every practice and put it out there, those guys, they'll be living on Twitter and Instagram. The plays they made, Kyle, he's a great man beater. Slants, go balls. He can run even press curls. He's really good winning those versus man. Kales, that's my swaggy little route runner right there. He knows how to get open. He's great versus man too. He find windows versus zone. We have two guys on the outside like that who are going to be dominant for me the entire way. It's good. I just put the ball in play. I just go let them make big plays.
Yeah, but they certainly made some big plays in that game, man. It was absolutely absurd what those two were doing. But now, man, you got a bye week now. You can finally take a breath after what's been an unbelievable start to the season. What are you focusing on most during this bye week?
Myself is ball security. I had 3 fumbles in the first 4 games, 2 against Colorado State, 1 last week. It's just constantly protecting the ball. Job security, ball security is job security. I can't put the ball on the turf, can't put it on the ground. Just got to have 2 hands stepping up in the pocket. So that was really my main focus this week.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And obviously, you guys right now are number 16 in the country, which is the program's highest ranking in 5 years. What does it feel like, man, with all the hype that is around Washington State right now?
It feels good for sure. I feel like we deserve it. I feel like what we went through this offseason, a lot of programs don't go through it this offseason. We have a great coaching staff, great players. We deserve it. But at the end of the day, I feel like we haven't done yet. We only played 1 Pac-12 game. We're going to play against a talented UCLA defense and offense next week. Then we have, we still have to go against Stanford, Arizona, Oregon, Colorado. We play, top teams in the country. You just got to show up each and every week.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I said, you guys have been one of the biggest surprises probably of the season so far. Did you kind of get a chip on your shoulder when nobody was really talking about Washington State in the preseason, and now look at you guys, you're one of the best teams in college football?
For sure, for sure. As for myself, I always carry, a chip on my shoulder each and every day. But as a team, I feel like our team is majority of guys, who've always been overlooked their whole life. I feel like individually we all carry something different than any other team. So that just allows us to come up and play, big time football when we need to each and every Saturday. We really, really just try to take it day in and day out with us. We really don't. Myself, I don't really want to get into like the rankings or not because, in my opinion, the Pac-12 is the best conference in football right now, especially. Anybody can be beat on any given day. Football's a hard game. I think it's one of the hardest games to come play. You just prepare the right way, take care of your body. Do things together. I feel like you can make stuff happen.
Dude, you're not being biased when you say the Pac-12 is the best conference in America. I think it is definitely the best conference in college football right now, dude. But speaking of that chip on your shoulder, I kind of want to rewind a little bit, man, because now you look at around college football, everybody knows who Cameron Ward is now. 4 years ago, let's face it, dude. I mean, you had a couple offers from FCS schools coming out of high school. You were this very, very lightly recruited kid coming out of high school. Did you feel kind of like disrespected in that whole recruiting process?
For sure. Especially I would go to every camp. It was one time me and my dad, we drove to East Texas for a mega camp. We did a lot of those, there'd be consular teams, telling me who they would get in contact with me. And it just didn't happen. So, I never really gave up. I just really put my head down and worked it. And finally UIW gave me a shot, and really that's all I needed. Just took it and ran with it, and I ended up here.
Yeah, absolutely. And who are some of those teams that were contacting you but maybe didn't offer you initially?
Really, I'd probably say the biggest thing, just because I went to a lot of their camps, was the Houston Cougars.
Hmm.
They're 45 minutes from my house. So I went to a lot of their camps. So that's probably the biggest team who I wanted to offer me that did it. But there's a lot of teams out there. I got a chance to meet some great coaches too along the way. Coach Daryl Dickey, who was
Hmm.
the OC at Texas A&M at the time when I was in high school. I got a chance to meet some players. I got a chance to meet Zach Calzada when he was at Texas A&M. He's now at UIW. So I was able to build some good relationships, meet some good people along the way. But it's something that I'll for sure never forget.
Of course, man. And you were an absolutely electric player at Incarnate Word. What did you learn the most during your time there?
Football is football. It's always 11 man on the field, especially coming out of high school, starting as a true freshman. A lot of true freshmen think it's a different game, but I honestly don't think it is. Of course, the offensive linemen compared to high school are bigger, stronger, faster, as well as the defensive linemen. But at the end of the day, you just got to be better than the person in front of you. And if you want it bad enough, you can go get it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So obviously you entered the transfer portal. What ultimately made you decide on Washington State when you were in the portal?
It gave me kind of back home vibes. Obviously Coach Moore's here, my OC at the time when I came. He was a big part of that. But I'm from a small town, West Columbia, Texas, only about 2,500 people. So Pullman, it's a college town. It's about 30,000 people here, but it's a small town vibe. I don't really need nothing too flashy, to be honest. As long as you got football, you got a couple restaurants, I'm fine with that. Washington State is a good place to be.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Can you kind of break the hearts of another school right now? Besides Washington State, what was the other school that you're looking at in the transfer portal?
I was big in consideration of Ole Miss. I had a
Ooh,
good time
okay.
with Lane Kiffin when I went to Oxford over there. Nebraska had called me; they were a school I was interested in. U of H, Houston, they were a school I was interested in when I was in the portal too. But ultimately, it just came down to as soon as I stepped foot on Washington State, I knew this is where I wanted to be.
Hell yeah, dude. I love that. And your first 2 years at Washington State also coincided with your head coach's basically first two full seasons as Washington State's head coach, and Jake Dickert, who we love here at PFF. What
Yeah.
has he been like, man? What's your relationship like with Coach Dickert?
I have a great relationship with Coach Dicker. To a person who told me straight up, it was actually on a Zoom. It was with my parents that he wants me to come to Washington State. He wants me to come be their starting quarterback. So I knew from that moment that I could have trust in Coach Dicker. He could have trust in me. But the biggest thing that I feel like separates Coach Dicker from every other coach that I played for, even in the country, I feel like is that he doesn't shy away from anything, especially to me. He always lets me know what I need to hear instead of what I want to hear. And I feel like that allowed me to grow into the person and player that I am right now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And what do you think separates you from other quarterbacks in the Pac-12 conference and other quarterbacks in college football?
I play the game a different way. Um, I play the game. I play the game just a lot. I have a lot of it. I've just had different motivations. What I can say from my past, I have a lot of hate. I would say just with the coaches who never offered me, who I feel like should have offered me. The 5 stars that I got to go against in high school. I always just felt that I was better than. But I just play. I scramble a different way. I feel like at this point in my career, I go through progressions a different way. So just overall, I feel like I'm just a different player than what I was a year ago. And just compared to other quarterbacks in college football, I just think there's just no one like me.
Hell yeah, dude. I love that. I probably agree with you as well, man. Another question I love asking every player I talk to is what do you think has been the best play of your career so far? For you, I would probably go a couple years back, man. During your time in Incarnate Word, you had one against, I think, Nichols, where you rolled out to the right, you flung it like 55 yards downfield on a rope touchdown easily. What would you say, though, has been your favorite play of your career so far?
My favorite play, I'll probably say versus Lamar. Is my second start of my freshman year. I was rolling out to the right, ball's like probably on their 20, we're finna score. I was rolling out to the right, and I just threw a rope all the way across the backfield, across my whole body, and just hit my running back right in the hands. He fell to the ground for a touchdown. So that was probably my favorite play out of all my college career.
Dude, you were lethal, man, when you were out to the right. That's basically what I've learned so far in this interview, man. But listen,
Appreciate
you
it.
guys, you guys run like a version of the air raid offense, but the run game is still important, which is not in a
Mhm.
lot of different air raid offenses. Just how critical is it establishing the run for your offense to work the way it does?
It's very critical for us. I believe we have two of the best running back duos in the Pac-12, and Nakia Watson and Jalen Jenkins. Um, we didn't really start the run game how we wanted to this season, but it's slowly getting better each and every week. And just the runs that we were able to hit last week against Oregon State, who has a very good defensive line, it was good to see. For me personally, it just helps me set just get into the play action. I love going play action. That's where you get the big post balls, throw some go balls down the field. So just getting that started, I believe that our running backs give us a great advantage going into each and every game. We make it a space game with those guys since they're so talented. Just put the ball in their hands, they'll make the plays.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So we mentioned before how we both think the Pac-12 conference is the best conference in the country right now. If people disagree with that, they'll probably at least agree with this, which is the Pac-12 conference is by far the best quarterback conference in America. You got Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Shador Sanders. I'm leaving out other guys like Dante Moore and DJ Uiagalelei
Yeah.
too, man. How much fun is it that basically every conference game you got, you're going up against a superstar quarterback? And do you kind of try to like compare yourself to the other quarterbacks in the conference?
I don't try to compare myself to none of those guys. I feel like we all just play a different type of way. I got a chance, me and Shador, we work out together. We had the same quarterback coach in Houston. So I get a chance to see him, when we throw against each other, what he's very good at, what I also need to get better at. And then just watching film, Michael Penix, what he's done for Washington. Dante Moore, I got a chance to watch a little of his tape over there at UCLA. He throws a pretty good ball. And so I feel like we just all play the game different types of ways. So I feel like when you play each and every one of us, whether it's us, Oregon State playing DJ, I feel like you just have to prepare different types of ways on whatever quarterback you're playing.
Yeah, man, I feel bad for all the defenses in the Pac-12, man, because that is I don't know how you do that, man.
Yes,
But
sir.
speaking of all those quarterbacks you just mentioned, you play a lot of them this year, obviously. Is there a specific quarterback that you cannot wait to face off against?
I want to face off against my boy Cam Rising over at Utah. I can't wait till he gets back on the field. It's really because Utah, they're the team to beat. They're the back-to-back champs. If we make it to the Pac-12 championship game, I hope it's against Utah. So that's really one person that I want to play. I can't wait to see him back on that field.
Absolutely, man. I feel bad that I even left him out of that initial question too, because he is definitely one of the top quarterbacks in the country, dude.
Yes,
But
sir.
Cam, man, you're living out a dream right now that a lot of kids have, which is you're being discussed highly in terms of the Heisman Trophy so far this season. What does that kind of Heisman hype mean to you?
It means a lot just coming from, the background that I came from. But honestly, for me, it's just really doing my job day in and day out, and that's leading the football team, trying to put the offense in the best situation to be successful. So, if I was, able to get a chance to go to New York, it'd really be, a team award as far as individually, just because, I just do my 111 each and every week. The receivers, they're going to get the yards for themselves, for myself. The O-line, they're doing all the dirty work. So, I just put the ball in play. Everyone does their job. Everything take care of itself.
Absolutely, man. Are there any NFL quarterbacks that you like to watch on Sundays and try to take stuff from their game and implement it into your own game?
I like watching Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen, Tua. He's balling right
Yeah.
now. So I like watching whatever game comes on, I'll watch it. But probably the one who I watch the most is for sure Pat.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one to watch, man, and take things from his game and implement your own game, man. But speaking of that, man, there's a good chance that you're playing with those guys pretty soon on Sundays. A lot of people have you as one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL draft right now. I know you said you're not really considering the Heisman hype too much, but are you already kind of getting excited about the prospect of playing in the NFL in the near future?
That's for sure a dream of mine. But right now in my life, at this point, I just try to live my life one day at a time. I ain't gonna be this younger tomorrow. So I just show up. I'm a 21-year-old college student. I go play football. I go play some video games, and in the future, it'll all take care of itself.
What video games are you playing this today nowadays, man?
Right now I'm on 2K. 2K
Okay.
just came out. I got a floor spacing slasher. I got to work on his shot a little bit. But right now I'm on 2K.
What overall is your my player right now?
He's a 90. He's a 90. I had to buy the VC though. I'm not
Dude,
grinding from 60 to 85. I had to buy that VC.
they rip you off, man. What over if there's a college football video game, which unfortunately we're not getting this year, but we will next year, what overall should you be in the college football video game?
Myself, I'll probably say right now you can put me maybe at like a 91.
Okay.
They better, because I need to work myself up some more. But they really just gotta have my arm strength. They gotta have it at least at like a 96. I'm making every throw on the field. They need to have. I don't got to be that fast on there, but I at least got to have the escapability on there.
Dude, 91. You're shortchanging yourself, man. I thought you were gonna say 99 or something, man. I would give you more than 91, but I appreciate you being honest there, man,
Yes,
for
sir.
sure.
Appreciate that.
But listen, man, listen, Washington State, number 16 in the country. People are high on this team right now, including myself. What is this Cougars team capable of, though?
I think we're capable for everything. And that's Pac-12 championship. I feel like we can get to New Year's Six Bowl. I feel like everything we want is out in front of us. But I feel like the biggest challenge that we're gonna have as a team is just taking it day in and day out. I feel like that's where some teams can lose focus, is not trusting the process. And, I feel like we have a very mature group of guys who we trust the process each and every day, especially on the defensive side of the ball, RJ and BJ. Those guys, they lead the charge there. And then just really just playing for each other, not really with each other, playing for each other, and just always having a purpose, always having a plan, and just got to go get the job done.
Absolutely, man. Speaking of one of those guys on the defensive side of the ball, I wanted to ask you about Jaden Hicks, who has been one of the highest graded safeties so far in the country this season. How much of a nuisance is he going against in practice every day, man?
Jaden, he makes some crazy plays in practice. We get a lot of one-on-one reps. He always says it's an offensive drill, but I don't believe that. But Jaden, the plays that he makes in practice, it doesn't surprise me that he's making in the game. The hits that he makes in the games, he does that on a regular daily basis in practice. So he's a great player, especially he's someone who gets me better each and every day. The sky's the limit for that kid right now. He's playing some of his best ball right now. He's gonna continue to play his best ball. So I'm excited for him.
Absolutely, man. Another question I wanted to ask you, dude, is that, you and Oregon State right now, two top 20 teams in the country, yet you guys right now are the two teams left in the Pac-12 after this season. What would be your pitch, at least, for Washington State to deserve a spot in a Power 5 conference, at least next year?
I think it's already been proven, not even just what we're doing this year. I feel like in the past, what Washington State's done. I feel like Washington State should always be a Power 5 institute. They were when I first hit the portal, Washington State was one of the first people who called me. So they were legitimately one of my first Power 5 offers. And so Washington State, they're a great academic school, great athletic school. But I leave all that up to our AD. I know he has a plan for us. Coach Digger has a plan for us. I'm just gonna do my part and just play football.
Dude, if they have the Heisman Trophy winner at Washington State this year, which there might be a chance of, it's going to be a tough conversation to leave them out of a Power 5 conference for next year, man, for sure. And speaking of, they have a Power 5 atmosphere too, man. Pullman is awesome. I haven't been yet. I want to get to a game soon, but every time I watch a Washington State game, that crowd looks electric, man. How awesome is it playing in that atmosphere?
It's real good. I mean, for me, coming from an FCS, every game is packed, in my opinion, even if it's not packed. So Martin Stadium, it's always going to be rocking. The fans that show up and show out each and every time we have a home game. So it's a blessing, just to be a play in front of, crazy rowdy fans who just want to see you succeed at the end of the day. But it's a fun place to be at. Pullman, the Palouse is not for everybody. We gonna work hard over here. But it's experience that I'll for sure cherish for the rest of my life.
Of course, but just a couple more questions. What is your why? What gets you out of bed every morning?
My why, I have a lot of whys, to be honest. For obviously my parents, my family, for sure, what my mom and dad have done for me to get to this point. My dad and mom constantly sending me to camps, constantly driving me, trying to go get recruited. starting football when I was young, basketball, baseball, just the money that they spent on me to do, whatever I want to do. And then probably my biggest one, just myself. This is something that I really want to do. This is something that I love to do, playing football. And, why not every chance I get to go on the field, just go prove it to yourself that, you are who you say you are.
Of course, man. And what should we expect from you and the Washington State Cougars the rest of the season?
Just expect us to show up every week. One thing about the Washington State Cougars, we're gonna always play with effort. We're gonna always play for each other. We're gonna do what's best for the team. We're gonna always just try to go get a win.
Of course, man. And last question I want to ask you actually is, there's a lot of kids who look at you, Cameron, and say, that's my hero. That's who I want to be when I get older. Maybe they aren't getting the offers like you were coming out of high school. What advice would you give those kids to not give up on their dreams?
Really just stick to the process. And I'm a prime example of that. Don't really worry about what your friends have, what their rating is, what stars they are, because at the end of the day, that really doesn't mean nothing. Because once you get on the football field, you just gotta let everything out, everything that whether it's whatever motivates you, whatever's on your mind, you just gotta go let it out on the field. The camera's always on. The film doesn't lie. The right coach wants you, the right school finds you. At the end of the day, God has a plan and everything take care of itself.
Of course, man. Well, listen, you're a 91 in the college football video game, but you're a 99 interview, man. It's a fantastic interview, Cameron. I really appreciate the time,
it.
dude.
Yes, sir. Thank you.